So first, actually, I have to say I'm excited to see a full room because I think this topic deserves it. And I'm even more excited to see quite a few guys here because I think we have to have you guys included in this conversation. So I always kind of look at that and take note. So this is a good audience. I'm happy. And my experience is actually probably the opposite of Allison's. I grew up in Israel. And I grew up to a family, that was very equal in gender. My mom, I don't think even knows how to wash a cup or make tea. I swear to God, she's never been in the kitchen. And the message was all the time, there's no difference between genders, just do what you do it good, and you'll be fine. And I started life that way. I ended up somehow studying computer science, which has a very low rate of women. Never really took note of the fact that there's not a lot of women. I remember even they approached us and said, come be a part of women in engineering. And I was like, I don't need that girly thing as opposed to you. And, through sports and life, I was always in a place with a small ratio of women and literally never really thought about it. And after a few years in technology, I decided actually to take a break from corporate world. Took 2 years off to think about what I want to do, and it so happened that it coincided with the birth of my first son, and all my friends were starting to have kids, and I started seeing my friends one at a time kind of drop out of the workforce. And I realized I'm a stat. I'm one of those 50% of the women who drop out of technology. The realization was obviously an after fact, but I realized that something is not what my mom told me is in the system, I guess. Something it needs to change for women to feel very comfortable in the work environment. In particular, all I knew was technology, so that's kind of why I started exploring that space. I volunteered in a lot of organizations. Some had to do with animals, some with environmental issues, and also with Anita Borg Institute, and that's kind of where I started learning about the issues of women and the workspace and technology. And then just with my personality, I kind of found myself with Women 2.0 and the entire entrepreneurial scene rather than corporate. But my route was a little different. And I love seeing all the women. It's so different than writing one-liners, how you do in corporate when you try to fit into a group of you and 10 other guys. So I'm enjoying very much working now with women, and I feel the cause is needed.
Thank you. Ayesha? Thanks, Gabby. I'm really excited to have you all this evening, and thank you for being here. Just like Baat, I'm also from outside of America. I was born and raised in India, in South India, and just with my family, we come from Kerala, and that's kind of known for a matriarchal sort of society, so I've always had a very strong influence with my mom, and I don't think we ever had a gender difference growing up. And I'd have to say the thing that kind of launched my interest towards women would be reading a book called Woman of Substance around 16, and reading this quote which says, each of us is the author of our own lives. We live in what we've created. There's no way to share the blame, and no one else to accept the accolades. And I think that kind of stuck with me, and it's so intrinsic to everything I did, that belief that kind of catapulted me from Bangalore to New York to sort of pursue a career in design. And it was in 2008 when sort of three things confluenced. I launched Fixing, which is my design and branding firm. And around the same time, I met Jonathan Lewis, who was the founder of Microcredit Enterprises. And they do some tremendous work in microfinance, helping women entrepreneurs in developing countries. And I happened to see this video of a woman in Bangladesh, and it was amazing to me what she'd built with a $20 loan. And I think that combined with just the integrity and the pride with which these women repaid their loans was kind of just got me thinking how important it was to empower women in very small ways. And then closer to home, I had the opportunity to launch Save with a Success, which is a women's business network in San Francisco. So kind of having these three things come together is kind of what launched me into my passion to sort of champion women businesses and be one myself.